So this video is going to be very short. We want to share with you what it's like to be a researcher in Nigeria, West Africa. Hello everyone, my name is Susan Onibinde from Dodo Design Agency. I have with me here
Busola from Versa Research. Nice to be here.
Yes, thank you. Before we start, I just want to know, how many years have you been in research?
So I've been in research for 10 years now.
Wow.
However, research in Nigeria, I started in 2016, so 4 years.
Wow, wow. Yeah, I've been doing research, I think since 2012, 2013. I did a few projects in the States and then came back to Nigeria and continued. So you're talking to people that have done it, right? And why I wanted us to speak to that is just to let you guys know what it's like doing research in Nigeria. So I'll ask Busola, our guest here, what has it been like?
So first of all, it's interesting. I think that Nigeria has it's a very complex market. First of all, there are a lot of different ethnic groups, a lot of different cultures. So it adds to the complexity of trying to understand the consumer. Even within the cultures, now we have like cultures from other parts of the world like feeding into our culture. So it's interesting, right? I think we have that part down. It's interesting, complex but interesting. But it's also difficult. There are challenges that happen and you're just like, why? Like, why? I've never seen this before. Why can't things just go smoothly? With data collection, there will always be a challenge. Like, you have to be on top of your game all the time. Like, I feel like every time we're in field, I can't sleep because I'm always thinking, okay, what can go wrong? And then you're sleeping, you wake up in the middle of the night, you're like, oh my God, what if we don't get permission to go there? Then you wake up and you start typing out letters and trying to send letters to people to ensure you have permission to enter. Even with letters, I know there was a study we did where we got a letter from the chairman to give us access into the facility. It was a hospital. Even with the letter, it still took them 3 days before the letter's in. They were like, wait. So yeah, I think it's interesting. You have to always be prepared, always be on your toes, be flexible. But it's also interesting because you learn new things. If you have a curious mind, this is the best place to be a researcher, to be honest, because you learn so many new things. What about you?
I like that story. It's interesting. Yeah, I would agree with you, Busola. I think restrictions are much here. I would definitely say so. Just going through doors. I remember we did a project where we had to research high net worth individuals. It was really tough, and you can't blame them. We are in this context where you're kind of scared for your life, for your possessions, and so everyone just was very suspicious, even when we had to present our identification. So I think as a researcher, you have to be flexible enough to, yes, you defined a research plan from the beginning. We have to be flexible enough to kind of go with the flow when you're in the field. And a lot of that has to do with people's restrictions and allowances. And sometimes you have good people that will open up and open doors for you. Sometimes you don't. So just keep in mind, you have to kind of be a people's person. Be very humble and accommodating, no matter what the context. Yeah. Yes. I think for design research, another thing I just want to add is that because design research is still very new, we always have to educate people. Even the big companies, right, that hire us specifically and say we want you to do design research, we find that they know the value, but they don't really know what it is, right? So we kind of have to educate people. For smaller businesses, obviously you have to tell them this is what it will do for your business, this is the long-term value. So you're not just a consultant or a researcher, you're also an educator and an informant. So just keep that in mind. I think for West Africa, maybe Africa, I don't know how it's like across Africa, but Nigeria especially, be ready to educate people, right? Clients, customers on things. Don't just go thinking, oh, they understand it and everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of hand holding. We do a lot of hand holding. You need to learn. She's right. You know, how to educate people, how to speak to people in a language that they understand. So they're thinking about the money. So now you have to show them how this data translates into money. You know, up or down. Basically, is the money increasing or is it reducing? You have to be able to connect the dots. But I do agree. Yes, for us, market research has been around for so many years. In Nigeria, it's still a relatively new field, not as new as design, but still relatively new. A lot of large organizations already do market research. You know, it's part of their KPIs to do market research. But then a lot of large multinationals, but you find that a lot of Nigerian businesses, even the large ones, you still need to explain. So they know that they need to do research. They know that data is important. They just don't know how it fits with what they currently do. So how does what you're telling me fit into my business? And I think it makes us more like consultants and not necessarily like the typical researchers, because yes, you have the data and you show them the data, and now it's really about, okay, this is how you use the data. This is what's going to happen. Let's work together. And honestly, I think I like that as well, because it's not just a transactional relationship. You're now building something that lasts longer, and then the clients will always call. Sometimes I get calls that have nothing to do with research. I'm just like, are you kidding me? But I guess, like, you know, you've built that relationship with them over the years.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have to address one of the most obvious things. I mean, being women, young women in an industry, especially market research, that's very male-dominated in Nigeria. It's definitely a challenge, right? It's a challenge, one, first of all, to find people to be able to rub heads with, rub ideas with, figure things out. If you want to innovate a methodology or a process, who are you going to speak to about that? It's difficult. And then being a young woman, you know, I'm sure everybody already knows the kind of society we live in, especially in the corporate world. You're not really taken seriously most times. I mean, I've had a project where I walked into the presentation. So we were trying to sell a proposal. We had submitted the proposal, we presented the proposal, then the MD of the company says to me, to construction company, says to me, oh, we really like the proposal, we want to go ahead with you, but we'll just call your boss to speak to your boss about the pricing. And I'm like, it's my company. And then he's like, oh, okay, can I have your dad's number? So I'm telling you. And then we ended up getting that job, right? And what I did was I doubled the price, because I'm like,
nice.
I like that. Profit from this job after that insult.
Oh my goodness.
So you just have to let it roll, you know, roll off your shoulder. You get a lot of situations where, like, you know, you're just spoken down to. And I love what you said about humility. It's so important. At the end of the day, like, it shouldn't bother you. Humility is a very important attribute.
Yeah. Thanks. That was very, very good. Thanks so much, guys. I hope this has been insightful for people that want to become researchers, whether market researchers or design researchers or UX researchers, in the context of Nigeria and West Africa. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.